So, James Cameron's Avatar has already grossed a staggering $1 billion at the box office. Do you think we could be looking at the biggest film of all time? We'll find out in the loop. Joining me to help make sense of it all is editor for the Hot Blog, Mr. David Poland, and senior editor for Chud.com, Devin Faraci. Welcome, gentlemen. All right, this tiny little indie film, Avatar, has made over $1 billion in just 17 days since the release. So, David, let's start with you. Is this well-deserved?
Well-deserved is a funny thing. I mean, money is money. It goes where it wants to go. People want to see the movie. People are talking about the movie. People are saying they should sending their friends to go see the movie. That's how a movie makes this kind of money. So, well-deserved. Well, you know, Hurt Locker made $12 million. Does Avatar deserve to make $1 billion and Hurt Locker make $12 million? No, not so much.
Right.
But, you know, people want to see it. They're going to keep on going to see it.
Now, what do you think stands in the way for this becoming the highest-grossing film of all time? Devin, do you think it's going to get there?
I think it's got a real shot. I mean, the thing about Avatar that's bringing people in is the experience. It's that 3D, the IMAX, all that stuff. And I think that people will keep coming back. I think that might be what really kind of pushes it over the top to be potentially the biggest movie ever.
$1.8 billion is a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
It is a tremendous amount of money.
You know, it's $700 million more than the previous number 2 grossing film of all time. This will definitely be that. But getting another $700 million in after the $1.1 billion is kind of tough.
They're booked at those IMAX and those 3D screens for months and months.
But it's not that, those aren't that much money. There's not enough IMAX screens in 3D.
Is that figuring in the higher ticket prices? Because I know when I saw it in 3D, it was like $18.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody wants it to be. That's what the industry wants, is for the 3D and the higher ticket price to become the norm. Of course, at that point, they have to shrink it again.
Right.
Where people will be irritated by paying every time paying $18 or $16.
Right.
But it's not as much of a factor as people made it out to be, particularly internationally, where most of this money is, because half the screens overseas are not 3D. More than half, actually. About 60% overseas, not in 3D.
It's filthy overseas, let's be honest. Now, does Jim Cameron, and we call him Jim because he was on the show, and I didn't actually meet him, but he brushed by me, and I was like, connection. So, we almost touched domes. Never mind. That really is a true story. That really is a true story. Do you think he deserves any other Oscars besides special effects, or do you think it's just that's pretty much going to be it? Either one.
Oh, I think special effects is it. I don't think this film deserves anything else.
You didn't like it?
I think it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. I saw Dances with Wolves.
You think? I know, but when every movie really boils down to like 7 stories when you really...
And this movie has all 7 of them in the same movie. I mean, that's what makes Avatar really kind of brilliant and amazing, is he actually squeezed together every genre film you've ever seen and took all the parts people like and gave you every turn you make in this movie, another movie pops up.
I want to hear what Devin thinks, because everyone...
He took all those things, got rid of all the nuance, all the characters, all the story, and just sort of... Avatar's a Mad Libs movie. He sanded all the edges off, and people are bringing things into the theater with them. The film isn't giving you these things. The film gives you the most simple of stories and gives you the most empty of characters. And because people are kind of getting into it, and because of the immersion of the 3D and the CGI, they're bringing their own things into it.
But you're talking about every movie people like. People like movies where they're a participant in the movie. That's the thing that makes movies great. The reason people don't like Fincher movies particularly, even though Fincher's brilliant, is that he kind of tells you every single thing to do. You're going to go in to have his experience.
And this made me want to have sex with Blue Sigourney Weaver.
Exactly.
So,
not Blue Zoe Saldana?
Either or.
You got a 3-way going.
Well, yeah. Which of the characters in The Dark Knight did everybody want to be? The crazy Batman, the crazy Joker, or the crazy Two-Face? I feel like that's
They
not...
wanted to be Joker. Nobody wanted to be Batman or Two-Face. Not really. Everybody wanted to be the Joker. They wanted to be it 6 months before the movie came out, and they went to go see the movie.
I think people like to have real characters, and I think that as well as having characters that people can project into, they like having characters they can also enjoy on a separate level.
Not only will this movie win Best Picture, it will probably win Best Director.
I don't know if it's going to win Best Picture.
It'll win Best Picture, absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to win Best Picture, mainly because I can't foretell the future. But Devin, is there anything? Because you talked about the film's development. You know, what parts? What did you want to see? Like, what would have made the film like over the top?
Well,
for you?
the original script, the Project 880, had a lot more heavy science fiction concepts. It had a lot more nuance. Jake Sully had stuff to lose, and I think in Avatar he has nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Either he gets his legs from being in the military, or he gets his legs by becoming a Na'vi. And
Right.
really, and turning on the humans, what does he lose by turning on the humans?
I don't know if he was going to get the legs, though, with the military. They might have been like, psych, and they just pull the legs back.
Well,
He's like, my legs.
They could have been dicks on top of this. So
I
what does
watched
he have
the
to
Ten
lose?
Commandments on TV the other day. I wanted more Moses. There wasn't enough Moses.
You're
The
absolutely
original
right.
book. He was so much better in the original book.
Could we not have had a blue Moses descend from Home
That's the
Tree?
sequel. That's the next movie. Is Blue Moses.
Oh, okay. So it's also interesting you bring that up. I mean, do you think, because we've seen so many epic movies that people love the first ones, and then the second one, Matrix, and then you're like, what? My eyes just got raped. What happened? So, if there were to be a sequel, what would they have to do?
Well, they're planning on leaving Pandora, apparently. That's the key thing, is it's really going to be about the Na'vi, apparently, going to some other place and doing some other thing. So it won't be humans versus Na'vi anymore, I don't think.
I don't think there'll ever be a sequel.
I mean, it's
Really?
sort of like Jurassic Park. Like when you saw the
I
see
don't
the
think
first
we'll ever move on.
You see the first Jurassic.
I think either this is it, or he's going to go do something else.
I'm talking about dinosaurs, damn it!
Damn it, Chris!
So you see the first Jurassic Park, and you're like, it looks amazing, and then the next two, then you're like, meh. So I mean, like, is it for this movie? You
Al
think it is?
Pacino is in the sequel. Then
What?
you know, if Al Pacino is in the sequel as an Na'vi, you know you're in trouble. If you get like little Al Pacino,
You want to come onto my tree?
That's exactly.
I don't do impressions.
That's when
clearly.
they're screwed.
Then my last main question is: does the fact that it was in 3D, do you think that matters at all in its success?
Yes, 100%.
He thinks it's the
100%.
key.
I think that's exactly why it's successful.
I mean, everything's 3D now.
I think that this movie is reaching an audience who hasn't been to see 3D movies. I think 3D movies have been big for geeks and for kids. I think this is reaching sort of like your grandma and the lady, the cat lady at the office are finally seeing 3D movies, and they never did before. And I think that this is sort of why Avatar's so huge.
Having actually seen the 2D, I don't think it has a whole lot to do with it. More than 50% of the people seeing this movie are not seeing it in 3D. The number's getting a little bit closer as we've gone along. There have been fewer 2D screenings, but most of the world is seeing it in 2D. They're growing to it because they really enjoy the experience of this 2.5-hour epic, and they happen to be blue Smurfs.
Well, all I can say is, Devin and David, I hope you guys finally have sex and break all this tension. Thank you very much for being here. Still ahead, more Attack of the Show.